You're watching an Oval Office meeting between President Trump and the president of South Africa.
They have to remind us, just in case you're not sure what the this is not an episode of Joe Rogan, by the way. This is like our president and the president of another country, and this is what's going on. They just moved to it. This is like an episode of Eric and Andre or whatever.
These are articles over the last few days.
He brought out pictures of. Why did he ambush? Why is he ambushing the South African president in the fucking White House? Why is he doing this? And then this was supposedly good memes as well. Yeah, well, we're watching this.
Honored to be with the president of South Africa, President Ramaphosa, and he is a man who is certainly in some circles really respected, other circles a little bit less respected, like all of us, in all fairness, like all of us.
We all like that.
We also have a few of my friends. Ernie Els is a great golfer. He's a truly great golfer.
Awkward.
But we have many people that feel they're being persecuted, and they're coming to the United States. So we take from many locations.
Is Trump going to talk about the issues related to post-apartheid South Africa and the theoretical white genocide, and not like...
If we feel there's persecution or genocide going on, and we had a lot of people. I must tell you, Mr. President, we have had a tremendous number of people, especially since they've seen this. Generally, they're white farmers, and they're fleeing South Africa, and it's a very sad thing to see. But I hope we can have an explanation of that, because
I don't know if Trump is aware of like the I don't know if Trump is aware of the landmine that he is stepping onto. Like, it would be the equivalent of me talking to some Jewish people, be like, yeah, so we've got some Jew guys here, and we're chatting, and we're cool. But there's a little issue of they murdered Jesus. And I just want to hear, what was going on with that. A lot of people are asking questions. And as a Christian, Jesus is one of the best. So I just wanted to hear them talk through, like, why they did. It's just like, like, the white genocide, so I'm not fully ultra informed of this issue, but the claim, I've debated so many neo-Nazis, the claim is basically that as a way to get revenge or vengeance against white people who used to be huge power holders in South Africa due to the apartheid structure, black people are systematically, with the support of the government, basically pogroming white people and murdering and stealing everything from their farms in order to reach some level of racial equity. And so there's a white genocide happening in South Africa, and that's supposed to serve as the foundational model for the West if we allow minorities to become majority classes. All white people will be genocided like they are in South Africa. That's like the whole neo-Nazi conspiracy theory. Now, just because that's the whole neo-Nazi conspiracy theory doesn't mean that the underlying facts are all wrong. I don't know all the facts in terms of how many South African farmers have been targeted because of race or because of just wealth or because of some combination of the two. I don't know the answer to that, but that's like the whole overlying conspiracy, or that's the whole overlying conspiratorial theory, and then those are some of the underlying facts that I don't have a command of. I know Trump doesn't though, so, but good luck.
I know you don't want that, it's a kind of a different meeting. Normally we have meetings, we talk about trade, and we'll be talking about trade and other things, but that certainly will be a subject that comes up. Yeah. Yes, please. Brian?
Thank you very much. I'd like to get your thoughts on Letitia James. Director Polte, according to him, Letitia James says that the alleged mortgage fraud was simply a mistake. I want to get your thoughts on that. She put down that her father was her husband in a word, and this is very similar to, I guess, the false attacks they have on here.
Well, I don't know what it is currently, but Letitia James, who's the Attorney General of New York State, it seemed, I'm not involved in that at all. I know that it's being handled.
Also, can I say, like, when I go to do events at, like, just whatever, if I go to do events somewhere, and then clearly people who are Destiny fans, when I'm on stage with somebody else, or when I'm sharing space with somebody else, are asking me, like, very Destiny-oriented questions. Like, say I'm at a debate event for Saving America, and then somebody's like, hey, Destiny, I just wanted to ask, in StarCraft 2, blah, blah, like, I always feel, like, very awkward, because I'm like, okay, well, this is an event I'm doing with somebody else, and this is obviously a fan of mine, and you're asking me, like, very in the universe questions about me, like why? I noticed it's very funny when Trump does these interviews where he's got like world leaders and shit in here, they'll ask him questions about like that is totally not even remotely related at all to anything that's going on here. And he's like, oh yeah, let's talk about Letitia James. Like why? It's so stupid.
Handled by various groups, I guess, but it's major fraud. Mortgage documents and fraudulent everything. Yeah, I think she said the father was her husband, which she had to have a husband, or so she chose her father, and she put it down. And she had didn't she sign in Virginia? Yet she said she lived in Virginia. Yet she's the New York.
That mic picked up his audio from the other room really well. No, I'm using a lapel mic. That's why it sounds so weird.
We have a situation. I think you probably heard about it. We've done through some very talented people, help settle a war that's been raging for years, Rwanda and the Congo. And I think we've done it. Believe it or not, I think we've done it. And could you just say a few words about that, my friend?
Yeah, please. Take over.
A couple of weeks ago, they signed, the two parties signed a declaration of principles in which they agreed on the way forward. And they have both submitted draft peace agreements, and we have put together one that incorporates both of their suggestions, and we've given it to them. So we're in the process of finalizing
Looking
this.
good, right?
Looking very good.
No, we have to thank you for even those efforts, because the African continent, particularly SADC, our Southern African Development Community, has for years been seeking to foster peace in the Democratic Republic of the Congo. So all efforts, including those from outside the continent and inside the continent, are really worthwhile. We are removed.
Do they care if you talk about the Congo or the Democratic Republic of the Congo? Do these two people care if there's if people call them different things? Because those are two completely different countries, right?
With removing
Or am I mixing them up with another two countries in Africa?
our troops from there so that peace can then prevail in that whole area. And we hope that with the support of the international community, we will really have peace in that area. It's so vital, it's so important for the whole region.
Well, we sent our people there, and I think we did a very good job. I said it by my friend, and that was great. That was great. I mean, I'm just hearing phenomenal reports, because all I'm hearing is death, and they're chopping heads off, and it's horrible over there. And it was really brave of you to go there, and I really appreciate it. And it looks like we have something very, very substantial. We also talked about trade with them in terms of rare earth and all, but really more for it's like, if you take a look at what we just did with Pakistan and India, we
Fixed it,
settled
solved
that whole thing, and I think I settled it through trade. We're doing a big deal with India. We're doing a big deal with Pakistan, and I said, "What are you guys doing?" You know, somebody had to be the last one to shoot, but the shooting was getting worse and worse, bigger and bigger, deeper and deeper into the countries, and. We spoke to them, and I think I hate to say we got it settled, and then 2 days later, something happens, and they say it's Trump's fault. But Pakistan has got some excellent people and some really good, a great leader. And India is my friend, Modi. And he's a
Mutual friend?
Yeah, he's a great guy. And I called them both, and we just did something good. We're trying to settle Russia, Ukraine. Spoke with President Putin for 2.5 hours.
Wow.
The day before yesterday.
Big phone
we made
call.
a lot of progress, but that's a bloodbath. 5,000 people are being killed a week. 5,000 soldiers a week.
Young
Not
men.
including people in
Russian
cities
and
towns
Ukrainian.
that are also being killed. So we're trying to help. And
You would
it
recall-
doesn't affect us. It's not our people. It's not our soldiers. It's not our.
Why is he
it's
talking about this with
Ukraine
the
and
South
it's
African
Russia.
president?
If we can save 5,000 souls, we'll do it. We're pretty good at it. But that's a bad situation. That is a really bad situation.
Well, you'd recall when President Zelensky was coming to South Africa, that's when I spoke to you.
That's right.
We both agreed that we need to push the peace message so that there can really be peace. And we've been involved in the Ukraine-Russia conflict for quite a while through my Minister of state security here. We've been dealing with them, the exchange of children who were taken away, going through names and addresses and all that. So we've been invested in that whole process as well. And the moves that you're making are fully supported by us because we would like to see the end of that war.
Oh, shit. Would they bring up the Israel-Palestine stuff? Because South Africa, for the past several decades, has seen itself as like a close ally, I think, with the Palestinian people. They're the ones that brought the case to the International Court of Justice on behalf of, against Israel, on behalf of the Palestinians.
Zelensky, and they said, he's in South Africa. I said, what the hell is he doing in South Africa?
He was talking to us.
Look at this game.
Just like, what? In that dog shit
What are
place.
you doing in South Africa?
Yes.
That's a strange one.
He's trying to make peace.
That's a strange one. Who gives a fuck about your country?
You know, we were lucky because we had the great Nelson Mandela who taught us how to create peace, to make peace. So we were imparting some of those lessons to him, some of those learnings.
Well, what do you guys know about peace? Oh my God, say it, please.
To him that this is how Nelson Mandela taught us that when you want to have a peace in a country, do it on an unconditional basis and sit down and talk. And that's precisely what I'm sure he's going to heed.
Well, we're going to see what happens with that one. It's there's a lot of hatred.
Yeah.
There's a lot of death. It's a bloodbath.
It is.
Goddamn bloodbath.
I get the satellite pictures of that field, of that killing field. You never saw anything like it in your life. It's horrible. It's a horrible thing that goes on, but I think we've made big progress. Yeah, please, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. President.
No, not you. Right here. He's from South Africa. Go ahead, please.
What are you expecting on the ICJ case? Are you expecting South Africa to drop that? Is that what you're trying to do?
On which case?
The ICJ
The
case
International
against Islam.
Oh shit! And he's like, I have to say International Court just because Trump has no idea what ICJ even fucking stands for.
Justice.
I don't expect anything, to be honest. I really don't. I don't know.
Trump has no idea. He doesn't even know. He doesn't even know what the ICJ is. He has no clue. Trump has no clue about any of this. I hate it. I actually hate it. Dude, when I said I did a Piers episode this morning, it's actually such bullshit. Trump will never, ever be accused of being senile because he's a fucking retard. When you're a retard, you can't be senile. You're just always retarded. Senile people are smart people who now speak like they're retarded. Trump was retarded and is retarded and will forever be retarded. It's such bullshit.
They've got a case, there's a lot of anger there, tremendous anger. I don't expect anything. We'll see what happens. We'll have
Hold on. I'm so curious if he says anything. Does he even know what's being spoken about, or is he just trying to be as general as possible?
anger there, tremendous anger. I don't expect anything. We'll see what happens. We'll have a ruling, and who knows what the ruling is going to mean. Yeah.
On that subject of Gaza, Mr. President, are you going to be speaking to Prime Minister Netanyahu about Israel's renewed offensive there? There's been a lot of concern from European countries. The Pope has expressed concern. Are you going to be asking Prime Minister Netanyahu to tone down the offensive in Gaza to let more aid in?
Was that a question or a statement?
Yes, a question.
This guy's, you never change.
Mr. President, this time, what would it take for you to be convinced that there's no white genocide in South Africa?
Well, I can answer that for the President.
No.
It's, for him, I'm serious.
I'd rather have him in.
Sure, I'd rather answer. It will be.
Our president will respond to you. Thank you, Mr. President.
It will take.
Sorry, I dropped a thing. Wait, what did he say?
For him, well, I can answer.
Convinced that there's
Never change.
Mr. President, this time, what would it take for you to be convinced that there's no white genocide in South Africa?
Oh, there's no white genocide in South Africa. Ooh, okay.
Well, I can answer that for the President. It's, for him, I'm serious.
I'd rather have him in.
Sure, I'd rather answer that. It will be.
Our president will respond to you. Thank you, Mr. President.
It will take President Trump listening to the voices of South Africans, some of whom are his good friends, like those who are here. When we have talks between us on the quiet table.
Remember, so this is supposed to be a thing that Trump should have a really strong opinion on. In a functioning government, okay, Donald Trump needs to have an incredibly strong opinion on this because we are currently rejecting TPS, temporary protected status, for a whole bunch of classes of people in the United States, but we are opening it up to people from South Africa. And the purported reason, I believe, is because there is a white genocide going on there. So for President Donald Trump, who has extended an executive privilege, I believe it's TPS, right? That's the executive thing that's being used to have South Africans that are being persecuted come into this country. He needs to believe that there is a white genocide happening. It can't be that there is no white genocide, because then why are these people claiming asylum and coming here? But I don't think Trump has literally no idea. He has no clue what's being spoken about right now. Oh my God.
It will take President Trump to listen to them. I'm not going to be repeating what I've been saying. I would say if there was Afrikaner farmer genocide, I can bet you these three gentlemen would not be here, including my Minister of Agriculture. He would not be with me. So
white friends.
it will take him, President Trump, listening to their stories, to their perspective. That is the answer to your question.
But, Mr. President, I must say that we have,
Wait. He's like, wait a second. Elon talked to me about this. There is a white genocide. And by him saying I need to listen, is he implying that I'm wrong? Hold on.
President, I must say that we have, we have thousands of stories talking about it. Sure. And we have documentaries, we have news stories, and then
documentary. Oh my God! Maybe Trump was watching our stream. Wait, did we ever watch Lauren's? I don't even know what the name of the South Africa documentary is. Maybe he was watching us watch it.
Natalie here, somebody here to turn that. I could show you a couple of things, and I have to. It has to be responded to.
Yeah, sure.
Let me see the articles, please, if you would, and turn the lights down.
The articles?
Turn the lights down, and just put this on. It's right behind you, Johan.
There's nothing this parliament can do, with or without you. People are going to occupy land. We require no permission from you, from the president.
What is he doing?
We don't care. We can do whatever you want.
Wait, he has clips? He has clips in a theater set up for the South African president. What the fuck?
Who are you to tell us whether we can occupy land or not? We are going to occupy land. South Africa occupy land. That's who we are. Can we drop my membership from this useless parliament? Yes, honorable member. Must never be scared to kill. A revolution demands that at some point there must be killing, because the killing is part of the revolutionary act. Shoot, kill. Revolutionary act. Shoot, kill.
He has no. Oh shit! He's like, oh my. He's like, I have no fucking idea. What the fuck am I, like, I came in here to glaze the guy. I figured this would just be a normal glaze up. And he's like, oh shit. Am I about to say the wrong shit and get Zelensky'd? Am I about to get nuked? Why are you laughing at blacks wanting to kill Afrikaners? Because I went to a US educational institution and I believe in reverse racism and I support it. Video games. What is this guy doing? Oh, he's looking around. He's like, how much longer is this? Trump is like, this is the first time I'm seeing this, so. Oh my God, he's like, get a load of this shit. Trump was like, that was some real shit. Look at him, look at Trump. This guy's like, okay. Trump's like, did you hear that? That's kind of fucked up, right? What is this genocide shit?
He is a white man. So these people, when you want to hit them hard, go after a white man. They feel a terrible pain because you attack a white man. Not because Pajama and Soli will not be touched. There will be touched, no one. But we are starting with this white man. We are cutting the throat of white men. Shoot, kill, no one saw. Kill the blue one.
the farmer, kill the grower, the farmer.
I can hear the video in the other room screaming. It has to be so fucking awkward. Oh my god. How long is this? Trump loaded up the whole, he's got a whole documentary. Trump's like, yeah, I thought we would just watch this 90-minute piece. I just think it's very informative.
Not for the killing of white people, at least for now. I never see the picture. I mean, do you understand somebody watching that, especially as it gets shared on Twitter, they freak out. It sounds like a genocide over
I'm Aaron Gilchrist in Washington.
Can we get a sanity check on what's going on here? What's going on here, this is the evolution of 20 years of Republicans telling you that expertise and education doesn't matter. That's what this is. So now we have an actual retard who is the head of state, president of our country, who doesn't know anything about anything. And what's even sadder is he doesn't have the capacity to gather information about anything. Like, he's not anything that he was promised to be. He's not even a good businessman. Because if he was a good businessman, he'd at least know, I need to get some people to like keep me informed of this shit. But he doesn't. He's like, the #1 national security threat, if you wanted to destroy the United States of America, if you wanted to destroy this country, the best thing to do would be to launch a kinetic attack against all of the Crayola manufacturing plants in the United States, and then wait for the crayons to run out so that Trump can no longer receive security briefings from the people that draw them with Crayola crayons for him, and then just start doing shit and he'll have no idea what's going on. That's where we're at right now, okay?
You're watching an Oval Office meeting between President Trump and the President of South Africa.
They have to remind us, just in case you're not sure what the this is not an episode of Joe Rogan, by the way. This is like our president and the president of another country, and this is what's going on.
Visiting the White House today, Cyril Ramaphosa. And what we're seeing at this moment, it appears, is a video presentation that has been prepared by the White House, seemingly for this moment. Not typical that we would see a monitor pulled into the Oval Office.
And by a White House, they mean some Twitter account that has some statue of some Greek philosopher that the person's probably never read anything from before, whose name is like Savior of the West, XXX69 N-word.
In this way, and what appears to be an edited video that is a part of the conversation that had been happening around white South Africans and the accusations made by the president and others that there was a genocide happening in South Africa as it relates to the white minority in that country. And this video seeming to offer some proof of that accusation. Let's listen to the president.
These are burial sites right here. Burial sites.
Oh, he knows one thing. My suits are in here that I have never worn yet, that I paid so much money for.
White farmers, and those cars are lined up to pay love on a Sunday morning. Each one of those white things you see is a cross, and there's approximately 1,000 of them. They're all white farmers, the family of white farmers.
Jesus Christ!
And those cars aren't driving, they're stopped.
This is the equivalent, okay? Rewind is an ex-post from Elon Musk. This would be the equivalent of Donald Trump bringing Netanyahu in and then showing a 30-minute Hamas propaganda video and be like, that right there, this is a cross for every single dead Palestinian child murdered by the IDF. And just like, oh my God.
There to pay respects to their family member who's killed. And it's a terrible sight. I've never seen anything like it.
There's a lot of stuff he's never seen anything like.
Both sides of the road you have crosses.
Apparently. But okay, Chief. Commander-in-Chief, I guess, I should say.
Those people were all killed.
Have they told you where that is, Mr. President? No, I'd like to know where that is.
Excuse me, we don't do fact-checking here. I don't know what country you're from, all right? In the south of Africa. They didn't tell me, they just said you were from South Africa. I don't know what country, okay? But we don't do fact-checking here in the goddamn US of A. Now shut the f up before I rename your country something related to mine, okay?
Because this I've never seen. But, okay.
I mean, it's in South Africa. That's
if we opened a poly market, what do you think are the chances that Donald Trump doesn't know that South Africa is like an actual country? I wonder if there's a chance of that. No, he would have to. But I feel like it could be like 15% that he doesn't actually know that. I feel like there's like a chance. I feel like there's a chance.
Mr. President, the Pentagon announced it would be accepting a Qatari jet to be used as Air Force One.
What are you talking about?
Wait. Did they just move on from that? They're not going to say anything? Wait, what? What?
Okay.
Mr. President, the Pentagon announced it would be accepting a Qatari jet to be.
They just moved to it. What? This is like an episode of Eric and Andre or whatever. That's what this is, right? Or what's the other Adult Swim one? Tim and Eric, or was that it? This is like what even is this? Is this an AI generated video? I have.
Used as Air Force One.
What are you talking about?
He's like, are we gonna talk about that? Because you kind of just showed like 10 minutes of propaganda about my country. Now I'm calling propaganda. I don't know if it's true or false. It is obviously propaganda. I don't know how true the underlying claims are. Also, just as a quick thing, because people keep linking these, how do Elon fans cope with the fact that Grok, like, constantly fucking fact checks Elon, and he's like never on Elon or the conservative side? Like Grok, every time I see Grok called in for a fact check, it's like never on the side of the conservatives. Do they? Your chain keeps touching the mic? Good. I want you to know that I'm glitzied out.
What are you talking about? You gotta get out of here. What does this have to do with the Qatari jet? They're giving the United States Air Force a jet, okay? And it's a great thing. We're talking about a lot of other things. It's NBC trying to get off the subject of what you just saw. You are a real, you're a terrible reporter. Number one, you don't have what it takes to be a reporter. You're not smart enough. But for you to go into a subject about a jet that was given to the United States Air Force, which is a very nice thing. They also gave $5.1 trillion worth of investment in addition to the jet. Go back, you ought to go back to your studio at NBC, because Brian Roberts and the people that run that place, they ought to be investigated. They are so terrible the way you run that network.
So
and
terrible.
you're a disgrace. No more questions from you. Go ahead.
No more questions.
Go ahead, talk about that. His name is Peter something. He's a terrible reporter. Quiet.
That was my question now.
Let's go.
Thank you so much. President Trump, Adam Zalston from EMCA in South Africa. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
What would you like President Ramaphosa to do about the situation that we've just seen on the screen?
I don't know.
He has no idea, bro.
Look, these are articles over the last few days.
He brought out pictures
of.
Why did he ambush? Why is he ambushing the South African president in the fucking White House? Why is he doing this? He's setting this guy up so much for what? I bet Elon gave him all. He's like, bro, this will be hilarious, and people are going to see you as so strong, as such a great leader.
People, death, horrible death. Death.
Daily Mail,
I don't know.
New York Post.
Pick anyone. White South Africans are fleeing because of the violence and racist laws.
Like, you are accusing the man next to you of presiding over a genocide. You understand that, right? Like, or am I missing something? Is this guy like pro? He believes that this South African president doesn't believe the white genocide narrative, I imagine, right?
And this is all, I'll give these to you. So when you say, what would I like to do? I don't know what to do. Look at this. White South African couple say that they were attacked violently.
President Trump, when will you go and see for yourself if it isn't?
Well, I could do that. Look, here's burial sites all over the place. These are all white farmers that are being buried. And he asks about a jet that was given. You ought to be ashamed of yourself. You know, you are so bad. You're such a bad reporter. This is one after another. This family was wiped out. I'm just looking.
Can we get from President Ramaphosa?
Your reaction to those videos, Mr. President?
Well, I think the videos are so. No. When you look at the videos, I mean, how does it get worse? And these are people that are officials, and they're saying that kill the white farmer and take their land. That's what. And I have other friends in South Africa. I have people that left. One in particular that says you can't go there. He said they want to take your land. They take your land and they kill you. It's okay, and they say it's okay to do. Now we're going to talk about it, but this is a tremendous look. This is a story recent. These are all people that recently got killed.
Yeah.
And I don't know how it can get any worse. These are. And you know, the men that you saw, the people that you saw in that movie, those are officials. Those are people that were in office. They had
part of this guy's government.
March. They had a dance in your parliament, whatever you may call it, legislature.
Let me clarify that because what you saw, the speeches that were being made, one, that is not government policy. We have a multi-party democracy in South Africa that allows people to express themselves, political parties to adhere to various policies, and in many cases, or in some cases, those policies do not go along with government policy. Our government policy is completely against what he was saying, even in the parliament. And they're a small minority party, which is allowed to exist in terms of our constitution.
But you do allow them to take land.
No.
You do allow them to take land.
Nobody can take land.
And then when they take the land, they kill the white farmer. And when they kill the white farmer, nothing happens to them.
Jesus.
Nothing happens to them.
There is criminality in our country. People who do get killed, unfortunately through criminal activity, are not only white people. Majority of them are black people. And we have now...
The farmers are not black. I don't say that's good or bad, but the farmers are not black. And the people that are being killed in large numbers, and you saw all those grave sites, and those are people that loved ones going, I guess on a Sunday morning, they told me, to pay respect to their loved ones that were killed. Their heads chopped off. They died violently. And, you know, I mean, we're here to talk about it, and I didn't know we'd get involved here. But I will say this, that if the news wasn't fake, like NBC, which is fake news, totally, one of the worst, ABC, NBC, CBS, horrible. But if they weren't fake news like this jerk that we have here, if we had real reporters, they'd be covering it. But the fake news in this country doesn't talk about that. They don't want to talk about it, but now they have to talk about it. But they won't. This won't even be a subject. They'll have him talking about why did a country give a free, think of this, why did a country give an airplane to the United States Air Force? About that right now. Okay, the United States, not to me, to the United States Air Force, so they can help us out because we need an Air Force One until that's Air Force One, it's being built. 2 of them being built. But Boeing's a little bit late, unfortunately. So why did they give us a plane to the United States Air Force? That's what that idiot talks about after viewing a thing where thousands of people are dead.
I'm sorry, I don't have a plane to give you.
I wish you did. I'd take it. I would take it. If your country offered the United States Air Force a plane, I would take it.
Okay. But coming back to this issue, which I really would like us to talk about, and talk about it very calmly. We were taught by Nelson Mandela that whenever there are problems, people need to sit down around a table and talk about them.
Well, there are
and this is precisely what we would also like to talk about, including, of course, trade matters, investment matters. So the issues that concern you as the United States, in many ways, I mean, one should say you are a partner of South Africa, and you are raising concerns, and these are concerns that we are willing to talk to you about. Let me just add quickly, you know, the criminality that we are experiencing in our country needs quite a lot of technological capability. And in one of our areas in South Africa, we're using US technology, which is able to, in many ways, identify where shootings are happening and all that. And I'd like to talk about that, because there is support that we can get from you as the United States to help us deal with all these acts of criminality. And that is what I believe partnership is all about. And we are here as a partner so that we can help each other whenever there are challenges. So I'd like us to discuss it, and of course outside of the media, so that we sit down and have a really good discussion that will lead to good outcomes.
I actually got drones donated for the peace parks to stop elephant and rhino poaching. And his predecessor stopped.
Oh, unless maybe he did, if he edited it, he could have just thought that like, oh shit, under this I need to change that from negative to positive and from negative to positive, because he edited it and he thought they had to match or something. Maybe? I bet that's what happened.
The importation, because he said the United States would spy on us. I mean, US basics, the ridicule. So if you can help us. Remember, sir, you and I lived in New York in the 70s. We never thought New York could be what it became. 2 commissioners, a tough mayor. We need your help to stop this awful killing. But it's across the board. And he's right now building a house in George. I'm building 3 cottages for my grandchildren on a farm outside Graaff-Reinet. I often go to bed without locking the door. And we have a serious problem with illegal aliens who stream across the border. And if you really look at our statistics, a lot of these murders, first it's unemployment and illegal aliens. And then I met Vice President Marx many years ago, the Charlie Rose show. My wife loved the book. And she reminded me this morning that you emphasized the devastation that occurs when big companies leave towns and cities, and there's a culture of dependency that develops. And I remember you discussing it.
You are watching live coverage in the Oval Office. President Trump meeting with the President of South Africa. Seated beside him here, Cyril Ramaphosa. I want to bring in our senior Washington correspondent, Hallie Jackson, who's been watching along with us. Hallie, another extraordinary meeting inside the Oval Office, talking about a difficult topic, accusations that the White House, this administration, has made about genocide of white South African farmers. An accusation that obviously Mr. President Ramaphosa is pushing back against in this meeting today.
Yeah, it's not quite a Zelensky-level blow-up when, of course, President of Ukraine came in and there was that extraordinary moment in the Oval Office. But I'll tell you what,
it's not a Zelensky blow-up because people just don't know as much about this issue. But this was, in my opinion, this was way worse the things that he was saying to this guy, depending on your perspective, this was way worse than what was said relating to the Zelensky stuff. Like, they literally ambushed this dude with a fucking Twitter documentary about fucking South African white genocide, and we are currently accepting refugees from this guy's country under the claim that they are being genocided by black people. Like, the only thing is that the guy's smart enough not to fight back against Trump because he knows it'll turn into a giant shit show.
It is certainly an unexpected confrontation here, and the South African delegation seemed...
Genocide is a very strong word. I'm wondering if you've made up your mind as to whether you believe genocide is occurring in South Africa, or you still have doubts, and if you have made up your mind, why invite President Ramaphosa here today?
Well, I haven't made up my mind. I hate to see it from the standpoint of South Africa, but also, I'm trying to save lives. I'm working with Russia and Ukraine. I don't have to do that. It's not our war. It was started by other people. It was helped along by our past administration. It would have never happened if I were president, but I'm trying to save lives. And no matter where. Rwanda, I have nothing to do with Rwanda and the Congo, but I felt I had a very talented person in this administration, and I sent him there, and he did an unbelievable job, I think. I mean, we're going to find out, but he's done the hardest part of the job. It should happen. If I can save lives, I want to save the lives. If it's in Africa, that's great. If it's in Europe, if it's wherever it may be. And it's a very small investment to do, believe me, compared to what the consequences are. So I hope we can do something. Look, I have so many friends. These two men, I have great admiration for them because I know what they do for a living. Yeah. And that's a very hard living. Going from city to city, from country to country, and hitting a ball 350 yards like they do, and
better than you and I.
Getting the ball in the hole. It's a very tough, with lots of people watching, right?
Yes,
That's a very tough living. They're champions. I respect champions, and I respect very much. And I think the country is very lucky. They really wanted to be here.
That's true.
They could be elsewhere. They could be on a beautiful fairway someplace, and they wanted to be here. So.
My name is Yanda Mobo from Newsroom Africa in South Africa.
Good.
How important is it for the United States to be at our G20 summit in November, given the relationship between our two countries? You just heard what has been said to you just now. Are you coming, and are you preparing to come?
So without the United States, the G20, just like the G7, used to be the G8, but brilliantly they threw Russia out. Would have been a lot better if Russia was in. A lot of people would say, oh, that's not it. Because if Russia was in, you probably wouldn't have this war.
Russia.
And if you had a different president, you wouldn't have the war either. But we have a G7. It's important that the United States is in both of them. I think without the United States, I really believe it's not very important. It's not the same meaning.
As I said to President Trump, the U.S. really originated the G20. And it's important that the United States continues to play a key role in the G20. And we are privileged to be the president of the G20, but we are even overjoyed that we're going to hand over to the United States, who are the originators. And for that reason, I expect the United States to continue playing the leadership role in the G20 together with other countries. And I've said when I initially spoke to President Trump on the phone, I want him to come to South Africa for a state visit, and I also want him to come and participate in the G20. And I want to gladly hand over to President Trump to take the leadership of the G20 forward in November.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. You don't want to leave.
Thank you so much.
Nice. Good memes.